A small miracle has happened as we finally finished a festival coverage within a week of the festival ending. This is going to be the third and final part of my favorite demos from Debut Festival 2025, looking at some amazing new games from first-time developers and studios. We're beginning things with Felbound. This is an action roguelike that feels like The Legend of Zelda by way of Enter the Gungeon. When the princess gets kidnapped, it's up to us to brave the procedurally generated depths of the castle in order to save her, get loot, and try not to die too many times. Now this one is focused on melee. You will get access to spells that are powered by your mana, but this is going to be a hack and slasher first and foremost. Each level you're looking for items, blueprints, as well as kind of blessings that change your character's properties in different, hopefully powerful ways. There are going to be, of course, multiple enemies, rooms, traps, bosses, and more to deal with. I love the pixel art style for this one. It gives it a lot of character. Combat is fast and feels great. My only problem with this game is I feel like the defensive options are not the best for it. You see, unlike Enter the Gungeon, which you can fight predominantly at range, here you have to get up close and personal to the enemies. And there were cases where it felt like I could not get out of the way of their attack, either because while I'm dashing, I don't have any iframes, or the dash is not far enough or long enough in order to avoid some of the enemies who will do tracking attacks, such as the boss fights. And those are really my only real misgivings for this game. There is a lot of potential here if you've gungeoned way too many times looking for another game to enter. Then I definitely recommend you check this one out. I am looking forward to playing more of this amazing action roguelite. And we go to another in the roguelike style with My Card is Better Than Your Card. This is a deck card builder roguelike, where you play as kids on the playground who are getting into some very adorable battles to see who has the best cards. This one plays a little bit differently than some of the other ones that we've looked at. Each turn you'll gain candy, which is kind of like your Casa activated card, and you can also draw a card as well. Your cards, when they're blank, have no effect to them, and you put stickers on them that give them their properties and effects. So you can put a sticker on that lets you draw more cards, get more candy, affect the opponent's deck, synergize with other things, and so on and so forth. Advanced play will revolve around you adding special stickers that add kind of these like passive things, as you can see, like little fishies flying around, that can then be triggered with other cards to give you more stars. The stars act as a tug-of-war game, and whoever has the most stars at the end of each round will add theirs to the meter at the top. When the meter fills all the way to one side, that player will win. You'll be able to buy and acquire more stickers, as well as basically design your own cards. And the balancing mechanism is that the more stickers you put on an individual card, the more it will cost to play. So there will be a lot of theory crafting and building in terms of, do you go for a lot of single, very cheap cards, or focus on specialty cards that can proc or do multiple things, but are harder to play. It's a really great concept for a deck builder, and this is one of those titles where it's easy until it's not. Once you start running into kind of like the boss fights, where you're dealing with a deck that is perfectly synergized in everything that it does, it becomes a lot harder to play. And your mileage may vary in terms of how easy or hard you find this one, based on how quickly you grasp the sticker concept. So if you're looking for an adorable deck builder that can have some interesting challenge to it, I would give this one a play. And now we go to Phase 0, replacing the cute with the horror. This is a love letter to Resident Evil 2 and 3. When a city basically falls due to a mysterious virus that causes everyone to turn into zombies and other monsters, we're going to once again enter that world in order to save the day. The art style and aesthetics, again, basically harken back to the late PlayStation 1 era of 3 and that kind of look. You will be, of course, shooting lots and lots of enemies, solving puzzles, collecting items, and more. Right off the bat, I have to say, despite being kind of a reimagining or modern show take on those specific styles of games, this one handles really nicely. You can move and shoot, your character responds on a dime even though you have kind of the tank-like controls, and just really had no real issue with moving the character around. The game will of course make use of fixed camera angles as you move in and out of the various environments. From the demo, it's a little bit hard to tell if Phase Zero is going to do anything I think that's different for the genre. The trailer at the end kind of teased you playing as multiple characters, but I don't know if this is going to be you change characters when the story demands it, or you can choose from different starting ones. Still, a really solid and well-executed take, at least from the demo, and if you are a fan of old school survival horror, especially RE2 and 3, highly recommend you give this one a try. Now we go to Beat Heart Beat, an alt-rock rhythm challenge game. You are trying to save the heart, and you must listen and match your beat to a variety of music to do so. The basics should be familiar to anyone who's played the genre. You must line up your button presses to the line that you see on the left hand side of the screen. You'll be able to carry your kind of quote-unquote combo if you do notes correctly, and the challenge is going to be hitting it all and hitting it within the right time. I was doing reasonably okay until they introduced the beats that require you to do a specific pattern to kind of stop or count as a win, and that was definitely a beat too far for me. So this one is definitely going to be aimed at someone who really likes rhythm challenge games, but I don't know if there'll be any concessions made for people who are rhythmically challenged, like yours truly. But this is still a game that will be for someone who is good at keeping a beat, whether it's a musical beat or a heartbeat. And now we switch over to something a little bit slower pace with Automatic Kingdom. This is, I guess, another in the engine style of deck building roguelike. Your mission is to build the best and most automatic kingdom around. Each turn, you'll decide to play different cards. Your citizens will activate something, and their position and the other cards available will affect kind of the resources they give out or what they use. You can also use accumulated resources in order to build structures that will provide benefit turn by turn. But all your resources are taken back down to 0 at the start of each new turn. The idea is that you're trying to build essentially enough here so that each turn you're earning enough resources in order to produce the next big thing. That will then let you synergize more with your citizens to let you build more things, and you get the picture. This game is all about the endless scale. You're trying to keep in front of your food costs, but you also need to make sure that your people are happy. You can also gain specific positive or negative events if happiness or faith gets at certain measures. The progression here is built on your tier level. Certain buildings will produce tier points. When you earn enough, you'll move up in the tier, and this will basically advance the game to the next stage. New challenges are introduced, new resources, and new things to keep track of. I did find this to be a little bit on the slow side, and some of the kind of negative events can be quite annoying. One that shuffles your citizens around, which is not good because they have to spend every turn moving them all back to where they were before. It's hard to tell from the demo how easy or hard the main game is going to be. I feel like this is going to be one of those games that you're either going to immediately grasp what the game wants you to do and just blaze right through it, or you're going to struggle with it, and there's not really too much wiggle room there. It's still a very interesting concept, and I would recommend this to anyone who likes, again, the kind of, I guess, low decision making styles of deck builders. So stuff like the Luck Be a Landlord games, or if you like the scaling and just the constant number going up. And now we go to Legends of Castile. This is a point-and-click adventure game where you play a woman who is trying to become a nun. And unfortunately, a lot of things are going to stand in her way, including dastardly puzzles, mythological creatures, and having to learn how to cook. The game itself is kind of aiming for a similar feel of the classic 90s era of point-and-click adventure. So expect a lot of jokes, a lot of unusual puzzles and combining of items, and doing it all in a variety of areas. The art style on this one is really well done, as well as the voice acting. Now, the puzzle logic here is definitely going to be built within like the universe itself. I guess somewhat of a spoiler, but not really, as the game kind of says on the store pages that you're going to be dealing with mythological creatures, so magic and other things are going to come into play. And it's going to be up to you to learn the rules of everything around you and find the items that you need. I would say from the demo, the puzzle complexity is going to be maybe like moderate to moderately advanced. Again, it's more about figuring out the logic of the world rather than you having to learn or bring something in from the outside. If you're not a fan of point-and-click adventure games, I don't think this game is going to really work for you. This is definitely aimed for someone who remembers the era of LucasArts, Day of the Tentacle, that style. But if you do remember that, and looking for a humorous and very solid point-and-click adventure game, then I would give this one a try. And for our last game of the showcase, we go to Kriophobia. This is a survival horror game where you are trapped in a post-Cold War Soviet bunker with the dark and other things out to get you. With no memory as to what happened, you must explore, enter another world of survival horror, and try not to freeze to death this time. In our game here, your main element is that you're going to be having to manage your cold. You'll need to use items that can give you more heat, wear more protective clothing, as it will start to do damage to you. Light is very important, as there are some nasty things in the dark that must be hit by light to either stun or kill them. It's an interesting point. The game features durability on a variety of weapons, so you do have to make sure you're carrying multiple copies or multiple weapons on you at any given point. I did run into some technical issues. There were some hallways where like the loading just completely tanked the frame rate for a second. I do like the kind of like drawn, almost like aesthetic or art style to it, but this is a game that's about moving around with a whole lot in the dark, and that can be a little bit hard on the eyes after a while, especially when you're trying to find an item or a door or something you missed. Puzzles will of course revolve around you doing some good old-fashioned critical thinking, find the key, get the logic, all while something is trying to get at you. The footage here is being played on the highest difficulty, and these enemies can take off a decent chunk of your health if you're not careful. It's a great concept for a horror game, and if they can fix performance issues and maybe make it just a little bit easier to see what's happening, this could be a very solid and cool survival horror to check out. And with that, Debut Festival comes to an end. We did it. We finally finished a showcase within the same month as the festival. Let me know what some of your favorite demos were from the event. If you let me look at your game for a future stream, showcase, and all that, please get in touch. And with that, I can rest a little bit early and get ready for more indie games to check out in the future.